Chapter 16, Part 2. Peter didn't say anything when the rankings went up, which, given his tendency to complain about anything that doesn't go his way, is surprising. He just walks to his bunk and sits down, untying his shoelaces. That makes me feel even more uneasy. He can't possibly be satisfied with second place. Not Peter. Will and Christina slap hands, and then Will claps me on the back with a bigger hand than my shoulder blade. "Look at you, number 6, he says, grinning. "Still might not be good enough," I remind him. "It will be, don't worry," he says. "We should celebrate." "Well, let's go then," says Christina, grabbing my arm with one hand and Al's arm with the other. "Come on, Al. You don't know how the Dauntless boards did. You don't know anything for sure." "I'm just going to bed," he mumbles, pulling his arm free. In the hallway, it is easy to forget about Al and Molly's revenge for Peter's suspicious calm, and easy to pretend that what separates us as friends does not exist. But lingering at the back of my mind is the fact that Christina and Will are my competitors. If I want to fight my way to the top 10, I have to beat them first. I just hope I don't have to betray them in the process. Oh my god. That night, I have trouble falling asleep. The dormitory used to seem loud to me with all the breathing, but now it is too quiet. When it's quiet, I think about my family. Thank God the Dauntless compound is usually loud. If my mother was dauntless, why did she choose abnegation? Did she love its peace, its routine, its goodness, all the things I miss when I let myself think about it? I wonder if someone here knew her when she was young and could tell me what she was like then. Even if they did, they probably wouldn't want to discuss her. Faction transfers are not really supposed to discuss their old factions once they become members. It's supposed to make it easier for them to change their alliances from family to faction to embrace the principle, faction before blood. I bury my face in the pillow. She asked me to tell Caleb to research the simulation serum. Why? Does it have something to do with me being divergent, with me being in danger, or is it something else? I sigh. I have 1,000 questions, and she left before I could ask any of them. Now they swirl in my head, and I doubt I'll be able to sleep until I can answer them. I hear scuffle across the room and lift my head from the pillow. My eyes aren't adjusted to the dark, so I stare into pure black, like the backs of my eyelids. I hear shuffling and the squeak of a shoe and a heavy thud. And then a wail that curdles my blood and makes my hair stand on end. I throw the blankets back and stand on the stone floor with bare feet. I still can't see well enough to find the source of the scream, but I see a dark lump on the floor a few bunks down. Another scream pierces my ears. "Turn on the lights!" someone shouts. I walk toward the sound, slowly, so I don't trip over anything. I feel like I'm in a trance. I don't want to see where the screaming is coming from. A scream like that can only mean blood and bone and pain. That scream is the scream that comes from the pit of the stomach and extends to every inch of the body. The lights come on. Edward lies on the floor next to his bed, clutching at his face. Surrounding his head is a halo of blood, and jutting between his clawing fingers is a silver knife handle. My heart thumping in my ears, I recognize it as a butter knife from the dining hall. The blade is stuck in Edward's eye. Mira, who stands at Edward's feet, screams. Someone else screams too, and someone yells for help, and Edward is still on the floor, writhing and wailing. I crouch by his head, my knees pressing to the pool of blood, and put my hands on his shoulders. "Lie still," I say. I feel calm, though I can't hear anything, like my head is submerged in water. Edward thrashes again, and I say it louder, sterner. "I said, lie still. Breathe." "My eye!" he screams. I smell something foul. Someone vomited. "Take it out!" he yells. "Get it out! Get it out of me! Get it out!" I shake my head and then realize he can't see me. A laugh bubbles in my stomach, hysterical. I have to suppress hysteria if I'm going to help him. I have to forget myself. "No," I say, "you have to let the doctor take it out. Hear me? Let the doctor take it out. And breathe." "It hurts," he sobs. I know it does. Instead of my voice, I hear my mother's voice. I see her crouching before me on the sidewalk in front of our house, brushing tears from my face after I scraped my knee. I was 5 at the time. "It will be all right." I try to sound firm, like I'm idly reassuring him, but I am. Like I'm not idly reassuring him, but I am. I don't know if it will be all right. I suspect that it won't. When the nurse arrives, she tells me to step back, and I do. My hands and knees are soaked with blood. Then when I look around, I see only 2 faces are missing, Drew and Peter. After they take Edward away, I carry a change of clothes into the bathroom and wash my hands. Christina comes with me and stands by the door, but she doesn't say anything, and I'm glad. There isn't much to say. I scrub at the limes in my paws and run one fingernail under the other fingernail to get the blood out. I change into the pants I brought and throw the soiled ones in the trash. I get as many paper towels as I can hold. I get as many paper towels as I can hold. Someone needs to clean up the mess in the dormitory, and since I doubt I'll ever be able to sleep again, it might as well be me. As I reach for the door handle, Christina says, "You know who did that, right?" "Yeah." "Should we tell someone?" "You really think the Dauntless will do anything?" I say, "after they hung you over the chasm? After they made us beat each other unconscious?" She doesn't say anything. After a half hour of that, I kneel alone on the floor in the dormitory and scrub. For a half hour after that, I kneel alone on the floor in the dormitory and scrub at Edward's blood. Christina throws away the dirty paper towels and gets me new ones. Mira is gone. She probably followed Edward to the hospital. No one sleeps much that night. "This is going to sound weird," Will says, "but I wish we didn't have a day off today." I nod. I know what he means. Having something to do would distract me, and I could use a distraction right now. I have not spent much time alone with Will, but Christina and Al are taking naps in the dormitory, and neither of us wanted to be in that room any longer than we had to. Will didn't tell me that, I just know. I slid one fingernail under the other. I washed my hands thoroughly after cleaning up Edward's blood, but I feel like it's still on my hands. Will and I walk with no sense of purpose. There is nowhere to go. "We could visit him," suggests Will. "But what would we say? 'I didn't know you that well, but I'm sorry you got stabbed in the eye'?" It isn't funny. I know that as soon as he says it, but a laugh rises in my throat anyways, and I let it out because it's harder to keep in. Will stares at me for a second, and then he laughs too. Someone's crying or laughing. Sometimes crying or laughing are the only options left, and laughing feels better right now. "Sorry," I say, "it's just ridiculous." I don't want to cry for Edward, at least not in a deep personal way that you would cry for a friend or a loved one. I want to cry because something terrible happened, and I saw it, and I could not see a way to mend it. No one who would want to punish Peter has the authority to, and no one who has the authority to punish him would want to. The Dauntless have rules against attacking someone like that, but with people like Eric in charge, I suspect those rules go unenforced. I say more seriously, the most ridiculous part is in any other faction it would have been brave of us to tell someone what happened here. But here in Dauntless, bravery won't do us any good. "Have you ever read the faction manifestos?" says Will. "The faction manifestos were written for after the factions formed. We learned about them in school, but I never read them." "You have?" I frowned at him. Then I remembered that Will once memorized a map of the city for fun, and I say, "Oh, of course you have. Never mind." One of the lines I remember from the Dauntless Manifesto is, "We believe in ordinary acts of bravery and the courage that drives one person to stand up for another." Will sighs. He doesn't need to say anything else. I know what he means. Maybe Dauntless was formed with good intentions, with the right ideals and right goals, but it has strayed far from them. And the same is true of Erudite, I realize. A long time ago, Erudite pursued knowledge and ingenuity for the sake of doing good. Now they pursue knowledge and ingenuity with greedy hearts. I wonder if the other factions suffer from the same problem. I have not thought about it before. Despite the depravity I see in Dauntless, though, I could not leave it. It is only because the thought of living factionless in complete isolation sounds like a fate worse than death. It is because in the brief moments that I have loved it here, I saw a faction worth saving. Maybe we can become brave and honorable again. "Let's go to the cafeteria," Will says, "and eat cake." "Okay," I smile. As we walk toward the pit, I repeat the line Will quoted to myself so I don't forget it. "I believe in ordinary acts of bravery and the courage that drives one person to stand up for another." It is a beautiful thought. Later, when I return to the dormitory, Edward's bunk is stripped clean and his drawers are open, empty. Across the room, Mira's bunk looks the same way. When I ask Christina where they went, she says, "They quit." "Even Mira?" "She said she didn't want to be here without him. She was going to get cut anyways." She shrugs, like she can't think of anything else to do. If that's true, I know how she feels. At least they didn't cut Al. Al was supposed to get cut, but Edward's departure saved him. The Dauntless decided to spare him until the next stage. "Who else got cut?" I say. Christina shrugs again. "Two of the Dauntless borns. I don't remember their names." I nod and look at the blackboard. Someone drew a line through Edward and Mira's names and changed the numbers next to everyone else's names. Now Peter is first. Will is second. I am fifth. We started stage 1 with 9 initiates. Now we have 7.